Hey guys, so in this video we're going to be sharing with you some of our best tips and tricks on how to create more chances in FIFA 23. This is a heavily requested video and we're also going to be showing you some live examples and walk you through exactly what is going through our mind when attacking. So as always, show your support, please hit the like button, subscribe, but most importantly hit the notifications bell so that you know exactly when new content is released. So before we get into some live examples, we want to address some questions that you may have regarding things like your team, tactics, and connection. And of course, all these things do play a role in creating chances and scoring goals. The better players that you have at your disposal, the better the chances you have to finish off opportunities. The better your connection, the easier and smoother you'll find your players' movement. And your tactics do play a big role in how many chances you can create. But none of these things compare to your skill as a player. There's no getting around the fact that the more things you know, such as skill moves, different types of dribbling, different types of passing triangles, players' in-game movement, i.e. what players your runs make, when and where, and so on. The more things and more tools you have in your arsenal, the more situations you can exploit in different ways. If you only know how to pass the ball and nothing else, then of course you're going to struggle. You have to show that you have many ways to play and create, and like we mentioned before in a previous video, it's all about being unpredictable in attack. So we think the best way to show how we create chances is with some live examples. So let's get straight into it. So this just really shows what's going through our mind. As you can see at this point, you can see we've got Lewandowski right here and he's linked up with Araujo. And you can see how Araujo is just shadowing him. So we know that when Lewandowski is going to move in this direction, that Araujo is going to shadow him and he's always going to be a little bit deeper than him. So any ball that goes into Lewandowski, we're going to have Araujo straight behind us. And you can see also this right back, I forget who it was, is linked up with Ben Yedder. So he's got the same problem. So in this situation, what we're really looking at here is Goretzka. And one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have with attacking is they're thinking about what they're going to do with the ball right now. And what you have to think about, and this is where the elite level attackers get to, you have to think a play or two ahead of where you currently are. So in this case, we're not thinking about Dembele on the ball right now. We're thinking about what Goretzka is going to do because we know these two attackers are not going to be able to help us. So what we're really looking to do is we are looking to use Lewandowski to make this run, but then we're looking for Goretzka to make the run in behind, and we're going to use Goretzka as the guy who we're looking to score with. So we're going to use Lewandowski and we're going to lay it off to Goretzka. So we're thinking sort of two passes ahead. And as you can see, when we do run it on, we do end up playing the ball into Lewandowski. But you can see now that, again, Lewandowski is not going to be able to outpace or outstrength Araujo. And you can see that this defender is still tied up with Ben Yedder. But now you can see Goretzka has gotten beyond the midfielder. So Goretzka is now open for just a little cutback. And then Goretzka can run on and can go and score. And that's what we mean about you have to think one or two passes ahead of where you're going to be, and that is what makes you go from being just a very average player to an elite level player. It's that speed of thought. You have to be thinking a play ahead, not thinking about who's on the ball at that current moment. And then you can see we do make the cutback, and then Goretzka gets the finish, and that's what we mean when we talk about speed of thought. So we talk about it again when it comes to attacking. It is again about just being able to think that one play ahead. So this time when we pick up the ball, as you can see with Sane, you can see that this time we're thinking about Ben Yedder. He's the one that's in space. He's the one that's dropped off. And when we play this ball into Ben Yedder, what you have to be thinking is, okay, what's the next move? So when I play this to Ben Yedder, what's the next thing? You've got to know before you pass that ball. So in this instance, I know I'm going to be playing it through to Lewandowski, but what I really want is Lewandowski to make a run on the inside of the defender, because if he turns the defender around, the defender is not going to be able to get up to speed in time. And even Lewandowski, with his lack of pace, is going to be able to get in behind. And again, you can see when we do run it on, that we do play that ball into Ben Yedder. Lewandowski makes that run in behind. Because he's now turned the defender around, the defender is now not sprinting. Lewandowski is in a much better position, especially if that through ball goes through. He's in a much better position now to be able to get in and score that goal. And again, it all comes down to, because we was thinking ahead of time, we was able to react instantaneously, whereas our defender was, the opponent's defender was having to react and not be proactive. He was having to be reactive. And when you're being reactive, you're always going to be slower. Now, before we continue, if you want us to make more videos like this one, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. And also make sure you comment below right now with your questions and thoughts as to what other videos you'd like us to make going forwards. And patience is also another thing that comes into it. So you can see this time when we're with Dembele on the right wing, we're going to obviously look to pass the ball inside. Now what a lot of people would now be thinking is, so we want to pass this ball into Ben Yedder and then through to Lewandowski. But again, knowing that it's where it depends on the type of player you have as well. Because we've got Lewandowski, I know that my Lewandowski is not going to outpace defenders. So I have to be clever with how I play. Now, if you have Mbappe, yeah, you could probably play this ball first time because you have the speed to outpace the defender. This is where, again, knowing your team is important. I know that Lewandowski is not going to outplay that defender. So what have you got to do? So this time, we do play it to Lewandowski. As you can see, we lay it off to Lewandowski. But now we're looking to go back out to Dembele because Dembele is the one that has the speed, not Lewandowski. So there's no point in us trying to outpace defenders with someone we know can't beat them. So then we give the ball out to Dembele. Now in this position, my opponent's actually in a really good position. Defending wise, he's using just the left trigger to defend the space. And I can't pass the ball inside. This guy is marked and these two guys are marked and I can't play that there because the defender will intercept. So again, you can't just use the same way to attack. So this time around, we just use a little bit of skill on the outside, some step overs, go on the outside. But this time, he's now trying to defend the line. You can see he's running on the line. So now we can't, he's expecting us to just go down here and look for a cutback. So we can't go that way. But now you can see that he's committed, he's overcommitted to that. So he's now given us that pass back inside. And you can see at the moment, he's in a really, really good defensive shape. You can see his back four is in a good shape. His midfield four is in a really good shape. And his two up front. So he's in a really good 4-4-2 position. So in these instances, don't force the play. You just recycle the ball, move it round, move his defense side to side until eventually he's going to have to bring a midfielder, bring a defender. He's going to have to overcommit with someone, yank someone out of position, and that's when you can exploit the space. So this is where it's not all about just going forwards all the time. It's about retaining possession in dangerous areas. So you can see we end up passing it back with Ben Yedder, a little bit of left stick dribbling, a little bit of L1 dribbling, just retain the ball, just move the ball around. Now this time, he's still in a good position. He's still got his back four in a good position. He's still got his midfield four in a decent position. But this time, we've got one of our strikers. Now, they're not in a good position. There are two strikers. You can see they're kind of on top of each other. But they're in between the lines. So we can now play the ball in there. And that gives us the opportunity that he's going to have to pull one of his defenders out of position to come and press us. And you can see when he plays it on, play it inside, he now yanks his defender out of position, and all we have to do is just beat one guy and shoot and score. So it's just simply about moving the ball around in certain situations as well. And again, it is very much the same, but you're seeing us attacking a lot of different ways. So this time around, we're just going to use the fullback, just drive into the space. We don't need to pass the ball. This is early in a game, so we need to kind of gauge what sort of player is our opponent the sort of player who's going to yank players out? Is he going to defend with his midfielder? So the beginning part of the game, you're just trying to work out what sort of player your opponent is. We drive into the space, pass the ball in behind. He's now switched into a defender. So he's told me already what sort of a defender he is. He's already switched into Varane. So now what I'm simply looking to do, give this ball back to Mendy. He's going to probably then try and close us down with his defender. And that leaves the space in behind for Ben Yedder. So now let's play it on and see what he does. So we end up giving it back. We end up playing it out to Sane, just that extra ball. But look where Van Dijk has ended up now. It's Van Dijk, not Varane. Look where Van Dijk's ended up. It's Van Dijk is beyond his midfield. But look at that space now, just for a ball inside that we've created, just by moving the pass around. Not every pass has to go forwards. You can see when we play it onto Ben Yedder. This time around, he's now, his AI is trying to get back in position, but he's already trying to overcommit now with this defender. So now all it takes is just a simple pass back inside to Lewandowski, and then we're in again. And it's just about moving the players around, play that ball inside, Lewandowski's there, and a tidy little finish to get that 1-0. So you can see we're attacking in lots of different ways, but it's about patience, it's about speed of thought, it's about thinking a couple of passes ahead. But occasionally we're using L1 dribbling, we're using left stick dribbling. All these things come into it, and it's just about how to think ahead. And that's the most important takeaway from all this gibberish that we're talking. The most important thing is you have to be thinking a pass ahead. You've got to be thinking a pass ahead. So not getting on the ball and going, right, what do I do now? Because that means you're going to be slow. You give your opponent a chance to get back into shape. You give him a chance to, come and press you. You have to think a pass ahead. And once you can start to do that, that's when you can really start to take your attacking to the next level. And as we mentioned, all these other little things, knowing the dribbling, knowing the skill moves, knowing the little double A pass, which just lifts it sometimes in certain situations rather than a ground pass, driven ground passes, learning to cross. So many different things come into attacking. The more you know, the better you'll be. So don't just be that basic player. So as we said earlier in the video, if you want us to continue to make more videos like this, then we do need your support. So be sure to smash that like button and make sure you subscribe and turn on that notifications bell. And also right now, go to the comments and let us know what other topics and videos you want us to cover, as we always read the comments to decide what videos to create next. And if you want to ask us any questions on FIFA 23, make sure you do join our Discord. The links to all those things are down in the description. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.